I'm Jamie and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be looking at 1-star and negative reviews of my favourite shows. This video is inspired by Jess Owen's video where she looked at positive and 5-star reviews of her least favourite books, and yeah, I thought I'd touch it around and do it about TV shows. I think it's just a really nice, I just think it'd be really interesting to look at why people don't like my favourite shows. I don't think it's going to tarnish my opinion of them or anything, or change my opinion, but I'm just interested to see why people wouldn't like my favourite shows. The shows I'm going to look at are Ghosts, Taskmaster, maybe look at CBS Ghosts as well. If there is no really negative reviews, then obviously I'll just skip something and go on to another show. So yeah, let's get straight into it. Also, actually, before we do start, apologies if you can hear any noise. There's building works going on outside and this is the only time I can film it, so apologies if you can hear stuff, but I'm going to try and edit out as much as I can. So we will start with Ghosts first, because that's one of the shows I talk about the most. So just looking, searching just Ghosts on Google, we get an 8.3 out of 10 for IMDb and then 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which I think is pretty impressive. So we're just looking on IMDb to see what kind of reviews we have on there. There's quite a lot of 1-star reviews, which is quite surprising to me. I'm a huge fan of most British comedy and own a fair amount of series that range from Dad's Army to The Brilliant as time goes by. I therefore had high hopes for this series. It certainly sounded like it'd be an excellent comedy. And so it would have been, with decent scriptwriters and a cast that could actually act. How did Kiell Smith-Bynoe get into this business anyway? Without either decent script or a smidgen of acting talent, Ghosts is an idiotic Assign series that made cringeworthy attempts at humour. It is truly tragic that since so many adults these days seem to lack both intelligence and maturity, the BBC can actually successfully pull off such a vacuous or vacious amount of trash. Piece of trash. I mean, I disagree entirely. The fact that they're saying that the cast can't act, I think, is just not true. I feel like we get a lot of just really intense emotional moments that it must be very difficult for actors to pull off that bit at the end of series 3 with Alison and Lucy was just incredible acting from Charlotte, just incredible. And I think as well, and the fact decent script writers, I think it's really impressive that we've got a team of 6 people who write, produce and star in the show. I think that's really impressive, and it is a really good script. There's a lot of nuance in the script. There's a lot of just funny double entendres, and every episode is crafted very, very carefully, and yeah, there's lots of callbacks to different things. I just think it's really good, and especially because you've got to write for a bunch of people who are from completely different eras in history, and for them to all be able to communicate with each other and have unique aspects of them and things that they would say that come from their eras is very impressive and very hard to do. So I think they've pulled it off completely. So yeah, I strongly disagree with it, and I don't know why they've highlighted Kiell. I think he's a great actor in it. Cannot fault his acting at all in the show, especially because he does have a really difficult job where he is not allowed to see or hear all of his other cast members. He's only allowed to see and hear Alison. So I think that's just an incredibly difficult role to play, and I think he pulls it off very well. And again, he's added his own things, always looking up to be able to thinking that's where the ghosts are, and I think that's just hilarious. Ooh, the next one is interesting. Okay, absolute garbage. Okay, just more proof that the BBC in the UK suck at making movies and TV shows. This is geared towards children and it's on at night when they sleep. Absolutely pathetic. The show is just mind-numbingly stupid. Watch the new US version. It's so much better than this trash. I mean, again, personal opinion, if you like the US one more than this one, again, it just depends what kind of your preference is. I mean, since when have we of the opinion that the BBC and the UK sucks at making movies and TV shows? We've created some of the best TV shows and movies. I don't know, I just think there's wrong. Yeah, BBC creates such high quality programs. So does we've got so much UK talent saying it's made for children. It's a family show, but because it contains a lot of adult humour, then it has to be post Watershed. When I was at the BFI event, there was a lot of younger children there as well. It's not geared towards children. I think it's geared towards family. It's perfect for like everybody to watch. Like adults will like enjoy the jokes that they understand, and children won't necessarily, you know, register those jokes, but will still enjoy, like, you know, the ghosts being silly and, you know, all that kind of thing. And again, I think you also have to kind of like understand the humour of the like the six idiots. Like, that is very much playing into their humour. They do a lot of like fantasy, kind of very like silly-ish, but like also clever humour. And I think, you know, Ghost is a prime example of that. I have to turn it off after 10 minutes. Effects are pathetic. 90% of the time they look like dirty humans, not ghosts at all. Not funny, not fun. And their comments, like they have paid 100 trolls to raise publicity of the show. Yeah, I mean, again, they've really kind of like almost like reinvented what ghosts look like. Like, instead of having like, you know, just like a white sheet kind of, ooh, ghosts, it's, you know, these are people that are how they died. So yeah, they're going to look a bit dirty and they are humans. But it's just kind of like, I think it's just, yeah, just a different interpretation of ghosts. You don't have to like it, but I think, you know, that's what they're going for. It's not just like lack of effects. And I think, again, the way that they do the special effects, like them walking through the walls and stuff like that, I think it's very, very good. So all of the reviews on IMDb are kind of all the same. So I'm going to look on just like Google reviews. Again, there's so many reviews on Google, like over 500. So we should get a lot more. Okay, again, there are quite a few 1-star reviews, which is interesting. And this person said, this show is on pre-watershed, let's not forget. Or to put it another way, kids are watching. Series 1, great groundbreaking show, 10 out of 10 all the way. Fantastic. The show has around 6 scriptwriters, so it's not like a single person was writing against the clock or anything. Series 2, how can a show go from what Series 1 was to a knob gag fest? Series 2 has become a BBC hit show. Scriptwriter Ben Elton said, if a show reduces itself to knob gags, it has not got a future, when he was talking about Blackadder Series 1 before he was brought in for Series 2 onwards. Okay, this is a very difficult to read review just because it's written so oddly. Okay, episode 1, exposing Fanny joke throughout. Again, that was all in Series 1, so I don't know why you're fine with it in Series 1 but not in Series 2. Episode 2, party episode, and Fanny's dog, a dog that until this episode was never appeared. So 6% of the episode you had absolutely no idea what they were going on about, and when you figured out it was a dog, it was a poor plotline to set an episode on. Episode 3, lady chapped lover episode. Fanny fantasised about Alison's husband. All episode with numerous sex gags, wet shirt and him rubbing Sefka's statues. Okay, yeah. Episode 4, the duel episode, in which 30 minutes of airtime was wasted. The Thomas Thorne affair is one of like the most popular episodes. I think it's got the highest rating on IMDb out of all the episodes. It's a very clever one. You get to learn, I think it's really interesting to learn from all people's different perspectives. We learn how they remember things, like with Mary being all kind of like everybody floating. I think it's a great episode. Okay, I'm just going to stop reading this episode because it's just too long, and again, they're kind of going over the same thing. And first of all, if you don't want your children to watch this show, then you can always stop your children from watching it. It's not on the responsibility of the programme makers to make content that's suitable for your children, like what you deem suitable. It's on at 8:30, so it's not like it's on like 6 o'clock where children are most likely to be watching TV shows. Yeah, and I don't think there's a big jump from Series 1 to Series 2 with the amount of jokes. There was a lot of Fanny jokes in the Series 1 as well, and a lot of, you know, kind of like double entendres in Series 1 as well. A lot of things to do with Julian not wearing any trousers. So again, I'm not really sure like why it's a problem for Series 2 and 3 and not for Series 1. I was excited to see this show. I watched the previews and I was so disappointed. I thought it was going to be scary, but it's just another silly, not funny sitcom. It won't be on long. Well, it's been on for 3 series now, so you're wrong. I don't see how you can watch the previews and think it is scary. It's always kind of been advertised as a sitcom, so I'm very unsure about why they think it's scary. But sorry, it's not what you want it to be, but it was never advertised as scary. It was always a sitcom. This one's interesting. Best thing on television, great actors, great idea, superb. 1 star. Too many ghosts, purpose and origin of each unclear, makes me long for Topper and the ghost of Mrs. Muir. Okay, I find it so odd that people don't like the fact that we don't understand all of the ghosts completely yet. That is one of the parts I love about it the most, the fact that we, as we watch the episodes, we learn more and more about the ghosts, see why they are kind of like trapped as a ghost and not able to move on, like how they died, what their life was like. I find that just so fascinating that we get to learn bits and pieces as we go along. And if we're just told everything about the ghosts straight away, like what is then going to be the purpose of the show, just them continuously messing with Alison. I like the fact that they've kind of held back from telling us all about the ghosts straight away, so we can kind of learn like bit by bit what happened to them. Like, let's look at like Fanny, for example. We learned that her husband threw her out of the window because she caught him with the gardener and somebody else, or whoever it was, and you know, to her husband, afraid that she would tell everybody that he was gay and that he was cheating on her, threw her out the window. That's the thing we learn. We think and we understand that she's this kind of like very strict, very traditional person, very like sour face, you know, kind of thing. And then later on we learn that she actually was very passionate about like maths and becoming like independent, running a business, but she was not allowed to do that and forced to marry her husband. We learn that and we understand more about why she is the way that she is. You know, it's not that she was always like that, it's that she has been forced to be like that and she's just beginning to unlearn the things that she was told about in her life. Again, lots of people saying, oh, it's boring and rubbish, and there are some comments that are offensive. What is offensive about it? I guess you could take Julian's comments as offensive in a way. Inappropriate captures way too many gay things. Wow, okay, again, that's just homophobia like coming into play there. Oh, okay, now we've got some people that are confusing the BBC version with the CBS version, saying total rip-off of BBC version 1-to-1 and watch the BBC version is better, and they've both rated the BBC version 1 star here, so I don't know what I was expecting, but I think, obviously, if it's not your type of humour, then, like, that's fair enough. It's not going to be everybody's type of humour. But I think, again, we've got issues of, like, homophobia coming into play. Like, I don't think that's a valid opinion about the show because, you know, if you're playing on hatred of people, then I'm not going to accept that. Again, and with, like, the idea of, like, oh, is it inappropriate for children? Is it not? Like, again, that's just personal preference, what your parents deem as appropriate. But I think it's not a half A. It's just about pre-watershed, and again, if you feel like it's inappropriate for children to watch, then don't let your children watch it. It's that simple. Let's do Taskmaster next, because again, I don't really know anybody who hates Taskmaster. I don't know anybody who hates ghosts either. Okay, so there are no 1-star reviews or 2-star, no 3-star. Okay, so even though people have rated it 1, 2 or 3 stars, they haven't actually wrote a comment about it. So I'm just going to go to IMDb, see if there's any for us there. So there is a 1-star review on IMDb, and just says, remove the worst program I've ever seen, and these people get paid for it. Show me paint drying, that would be better. Show me paint drying. I mean, again, if it's not your type of thing, it's not your type of thing, but I'm sure there's worse programs in the world. Let's have a look at some 2-star. There's a 2-star one that says, started off okay. First few series were okay, but it's gone downhill. The main thing with this show is all works or fails depending on who is on in each series. Alex Horne, get rid of him, just nothing, no charisma. His attempts at jokes always fall flat. So I think the first point is fair enough. The main thing with this show is that all works or fails depending on who is on in each series. I think that's a very valid point. For me, I think, again, the tasks are kind of like more important, but you know, if you're watching a series you don't like anybody on it, then obviously you're not going to enjoy it. That's a fair enough criticism, I guess. I wouldn't rate it 2 stars because of that, but and then they go on to Alex Horne. Just nothing, no charisma. His attempts at jokes always fall flat. That is like the point of his character. That's the kind of character that he's built up and created. He's supposed to be that awkward, unfunny person that Greg Davies, the Taskmaster, hates and just sends to do his bidding. That's the whole point of the character. Yeah, kind of like missed the point on that. You know, if you don't like Alex Horne, then I guess fair enough, but like I just don't agree with you at all. Okay, there's 1 4-star, so this is vastly overrated British humour. I'm actually a big fan of British humour, but rather found this show to be quite boring. I didn't find it funny. It's full of too many dad jokes, which may appeal to some other person. Interesting. Okay, I don't really know what to like critique about this opinion because again, it just seems like personal opinion. I'm not sure what like dad jokes, that may just be to Alex again. Which I think the point is it's supposed to be like, ugh, like rolling your eyes kind of humour at it. It's not supposed to be like, especially when he's in the studio. In like the pre-film tasks, again, he's a bit more like, I think he's getting a bit more like sarcastic as well. But again, I don't know. I don't agree with it, but like I'm not like offended by those reviews really. Apart from, yeah, I think I'm a lot more offended about the ghost ones. It just seems like they just are misunderstanding the show. And again, I think again might be a bit of like BBC bias in there as well. If they don't like the BBC, then they're going to critique things to do with the BBC. A lot of things were like, oh, you shouldn't have to pay for this and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know, I just disagree with you. I think I do want to look at CBS Ghosts as well, just to kind of see whether, I know a lot of the reviews are going to be based on, oh, this is a remake kind of thing, but I just want to kind of see if there is any other criticism that's not based on it being a remake. So it's got 7.6 out of 10 on IMDb, but then 94% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is pretty good. So the first comment on Google completely is this: the American adaptation sucks. If you want to watch an actual talented cast and an actually lol funny show, watch the British version that we Yanks are trying to imitate, aka rip off. The American version is a cheap subpar imitation of a great, clever, witty, funny, nuanced show whose characters have chemistry, depth, style and sweet subtleness about them. Mischievous caveman Robin, the captain unrequited love poet Thomas, Pat, Mary and MP sex addict Julian are my favourites. Innocent Kitty is hilarious too, actually they all are. Alison and Mike are perfect in their roles of the living occupants of the once grand estate. They all play the characters to perfection with consummate professionalism and acting ability, witty dialogue and snapping retorts. Moreover, don't forget the great dry, understated British humour. I hope the BBC decides to film the fourth version. Don't waste your time on the US CBS version. Just stale, unfunny jokes that are almost taken verbatim from its British counterpart across the pond. And, like Lady Fanny Button every day, when she falls out the window. Oh, like, okay, yeah, they still fall flat. The CBS US version couldn't deliver a funny line if they had a fleet of UPS trucks. The only reason I gave the CBS version 1 star is because 0 stars is not an option. It sounds like this person wrote this review after only watching the first 2 episodes, which I will admit are basically a copy of the UK version. However, as the show has progressed, it has got a lot more original plot lines and has also developed their own humour, their own sense of humour as well, and unique jokes that are to do with their ghosts and not to their British ghosts. If you prefer the British version, that's fine. Okay, there are quite a lot of 1-star reviews, so I'm probably just going to only take a few. Okay, yeah, a lot of these are based on being watch the British version. Again, this is one where if you'd actually watch more of the show, you'll understand. It says, what a disappointing show. I watched 2 episodes to give it a chance. I did not laugh once. The actors try way too hard and are just not funny or interesting. Not even close to the Brit ghosts. Why do the Yanks always try to imitate the Brits? I mean, again, watch it, give it a bit more of a chance. I think, again, this is a common complaint I have with remakes. Stop making the first episode so much like the original, because you're always going to get that comparisons. You're always going to get people just watching the first episode thinking it's a complete copy. Whereas, I would say Ghosts, I know a lot of British people who love the original Ghosts watching the US one and actually beginning to like it as it goes on, because I genuinely do. If you're the kind of person who needs your jokes simplified and spoon-fed to you, then I think you'll really enjoy this show. You might also like a frantic pace which stands in for genuine comedic timing or frazzled over-the-top quirkiness in place of a well-written character. Maybe you also thought that Friends was actually a well-written show, then yes, you'll love Ghosts, and that's fine, to each their own. So I will agree that it is a bit faster paced than some shows, but I think it kind of works now as we kind of get. I don't really think the jokes are simplified or spoon-fed. Maybe in the first episode a little bit, but I think as it goes on, I think the jokes get a bit more developed, and again, I don't think having very simple jokes is necessarily bad as long as they pay off well, and I think even the more simple jokes in Ghosts does work. Quirkiness, it is quite quirky, but again, that's kind of the point of it. It's supposed to be silly quirky. But yeah, I think I'll end it there. There's a lot of opinions that I wasn't really expecting to come in to read. My opinions of the shows haven't really changed. I like all of them still. Yeah, especially Ghosts. Taskmaster didn't have that many negative reviews, which I think is quite impressive. I think it is one of those shows that is quite hard to hate. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but it's quite hard to hate. I'm amazed about how passionate some people are about hating Ghosts. So if you enjoyed this video, then please give it a like and comment down below what you thought of these reviews. And if you want to watch more videos to do with British TV and stuff like that, then give me a subscribe and I'll have more videos out soon. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!